You're watching.
You are watching
The Art of Press and Play.
The Art of Pressing Play.
I'm Johnny, and you're watching The Art of Pressing Play.
In the last episode, we looked at the fascinating world of modular synthesis, from wave-generating hardware to the passion motivating each musician. Today, we're going to ask artists for some advice for those seeking to perform and a look behind the scenes of their music. We also have a moment with seasoned artist Long Walk Short Dog for some helpful tips and insight into his process.
I'm Gabriel. I go by Fortuna as my stage name, and I am an artist, producer, teacher, educator, tech person.
Tensei, Tuwa. My name is Sean Beaver. I'm an electronic Indigenous artist from Driftball Cree Nation. I now reside here in Calgary, which is Treaty 7 territory, also known as Mohkinstsis. I have been in the industry for a very long time. I have now incorporated my performance as a hybrid live performance, and I have been a solo artist since 2013. Prior to that, I have been with a native hip hop group, performing throughout North America, and it's been a lot of learning and a lot of a heavy journey to get where I am now.
I'm Johnny. I make acid techno and jungle, and I've been doing it for far too long.
I go by the alias Cloves, and basically I am a techno music producer and used to be a DJ. There's a whole story behind that. I've been producing music for a very long time, and in fact, I didn't start off as a techno DJ. It's been quite the evolution from where I began to where I am now.
I mean, yeah, it's been a long journey. I used to play in bands, like way back in the day. I used to play keyboards. Well, way back, I used to play guitar in bands. And then when I came to Calgary for university, I started playing keyboards in bands because I thought, hey, the synth trend is well and alive. So let's play some synths and keyboards live. And that got me started with the whole, experimenting with electronic sounds on stage. And eventually I just thought, I want to do it on my own. And I have a vision, I have an idea, let's execute on this and make it happen. For new artists who are looking to build a new set in Ableton Live or really any software, my advice is just to step back from what you think you want to do and look at your song and pull out the parts you don't need and decide, what do you want to play live? What do you want to backtrack? What do you want to just have you support your set? Because if you are one person, one artist, you're going to have to rely on loops. You're going to have to rely on backing tracks or something that you're creating on the spot with a synthesizer perhaps or a drum machine. So you need to decide very early on, what are you going to have, independently support you, and what is going to be coming from you as an artist that's expressing something on the spot. Keeping it minimal but meaningful is important. So I just tried to make the synths and the guitars be friends, and just get them to agree with each other in the song.
When I started producing, there was a lot of different music at the time. As I mentioned before, I was with a native hip hop group. So my influences were more urban based, trying to essentially fit in, but yet I still had the influences of electronic music, because I guess that's where my heart has always been, and trying to, combine the two, where I would make electronic music but yet still urban music, was the challenge when I first started producing back in essentially 1996. Being an independent artist, it's a little bit more difficult to do things when you don't have a team and you are your own team. But there are the benefits and disadvantages. Benefits being that you do whatever you want, essentially. There's nobody telling you what not to do, which is good and bad, because you will do the wrong things, or you might luck out and do the right things and have the ability to release an album and find out that it's #1 on CJSW's electronic music for however long, or it's on their top 20 or top 40, top 100, and you had no idea that it got there. Being without a team, you have the disadvantages of not being able to accomplish those different feats, I guess, sooner, faster, or being aware of them. And you are hindered from being able to do what you want to do, essentially, because somebody else's experience will tell you not to do it because they know which could be better for your career in a sense. But I like to have the balance, which is either good or bad, of being the independent artist that I am and being able to get to where I want to be, or get to where I am, in the fact that I got to where I am on my own terms, on my own way of getting here, or I will achieve the achievements that I want to achieve on my own terms. You know, maybe there will be a point with later on in my career where I will have a team behind me, and it will give me more of the opportunity to work strictly on music. I look forward to it, and maybe it won't, but I will still have the joy and the admiration and the love for electronic music, I think, forever.
It was neat to be in that time where everything was kind of forming up, and like that space in the 80s and the 90s where it was suddenly becoming feasible for home studios to be a thing. And like one could go and get a synthesizer and not like have to take out a bank loan. So that was really cool. But I look at today and what's available to the kids today, and it's like, you can go on the internet now and you can download a synthesizer, and then you can go download like hours and hours and hours of material on how to program and work the synthesizer. And that's also really, really cool. So it's like, I don't know, 6 of one, half does the other. I kind of wish I was here, but I'm kind of glad I'm here too, right? Like, so for an embarrassingly long time, I just was not very good, and that's fine. And, you know, but I was all right. And I had I had a certain charm. But as I got better and more in tune with what is the sound that I want and what is the sound that I wanted to create, then it got better and better. There's like a couple like key watershed points. One of them was finding a sequencer that just worked for me. Like the sequencer is the brain of everything. And if you don't have a good sequencer, you might as well just give up, right? You need to have something that fits everything together nicely. And that was one of the keys. Another one was getting a sampler. So the one I got was just perfect for making crazy breakbeats, which, you know, if you're into jungle, you got to have the crazy breakbeats. But it was also really good at sampling and synthesis. So this was a great way for me to really like tear into synthesis as an art form and like make some truly wild sounds.
I taught myself how to play guitar on my stepdad's guitar. And on my, I think it was like 14th or 15th birthday, they had bought me a guitar. And it was just, my whole world changed. I went from playing sports and like being social to locking myself up in my room, teaching myself even more like how to play guitar and writing emo songs because I was a teenager. So, you know, how I got into electronic music growing up, at that point when I was about maybe 15, 16, I'd already picked up a guitar and trying to teach myself how to play guitar. And I did that for a couple years, and it wasn't until I think it was maybe my 17th or 18th birthday, I received a MacBook for my birthday, and I was so stoked about it. And of course, as we all know, like Apple computers, they come with GarageBand. And so I sat there and I was just fiddling with GarageBand, and I was just thinking, how can I combine acoustic guitar with, you know, these cool beats or these sounds that I can make in GarageBand? And so I spent a lot of time exploring that and trying to combine the two and seeing what I can come up with. It wasn't very good, don't get me wrong, but it was different, and I thought that was really neat. Actually, my best friend and my best friend Emerence, we decided that we wanted to create like a record label, essentially, a digital record label. And we noticed that there was a missing area for marginalized individuals, especially people of color and queer folks. And so we wanted to fill that void. So everyone on our label that we released or feature in the DJ mixes are either a person of color or they're queer. And we wanted to focus on that. And that grew beyond Calgary, actually. It's now Canada-wide, it's worldwide. We feature artists from across the globe, to the States, to Vancouver, even here in Calgary. And that's something that we had focused on at the time. And that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of making connections and just collaborating together, which was really nice. In terms of what I'm doing now, I'm focusing on production right now. I have a whole, story as to why I actually stopped playing live and DJing. This was before the pandemic and when everything went on lockdown. I think it was 2019. I had problems with my vision, and it was something I experienced 10 years prior. And so I had to go back to the doctors and figure it out. And I was actually diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So that was a huge, reality check. And a lot of things had made sense, like, oh, this is why this has happened. That's why that happened. And now I notice even live streaming, my body hurts a lot more. So I don't play live out anymore. It's too hard on my body. And right now I focus on music production and mentoring others. I do coaching for music producers within the music marketing, within production. And I do mixing and mastering for other music producers in the electronic realm. And I guess that's my way of staying connected. Advice I could give to artists just starting out live sets, I would say, don't limit yourself to a box. When you're starting out, a lot of people convince themselves that you need this and this and this, and that's it. You can't do anything else. But I honestly think that just having a couple of elements to a live set is limiting yourself to what you could be. If I had limited myself to pop music or house, I wouldn't have found my love for techno that I do have today. And it's just leaving the door open for you to explore more. And I think that's really, really important, because you might find your true sound and what you truly love. And if for a live set, I think having those tools to be able to explore and build something is super important to evolution and growth.
I've packed many dance floors and I've cleared just as many of them. It happens. Yeah. I've cleared it down to a person before. I am Dave, Long Walk Short Talk. I've been doing the live PA thing and writing and producing original music for about 25 years, 20 professionally, but I started in the garage at mom and dad's before that. I used to be in an awesome band called Sounds Good on Paper in Calgary. That was one of the hardest things about leaving the city, was leaving that band. But on a personal note, I was just not happy living in the city anymore. That was the band was the best thing going for me, and it was a hard line. I was like, this is rad, but all this other stuff is not so rad, and I got to get out of here. So I moved to Vancouver to go to audio school. It was then, what was it called? CDIS, and halfway through my degree, it got bought by Art Institute. So technically I have an Art Institute degree, even though it's not what I signed up for. And they cover everything there. So it's here's how to record a band, here's how to do Foley, here's how to do post, here's how to write electronic stuff, or it covered a lot of bases. And at the time, I knew I just wanted to do something with music. I didn't really know what. I was kind of up for whatever. I figured, I'll learn all this stuff and then I'll figure it out. And so for the electronic class, I made a few kind of demo-y things for fun. And a guy that was involved in the DJ world at that time, sorry, I didn't mention the time frame. I guess this is 2003 when I went up there for that. And he's kind of like, this is pretty good. Like, it's sort of dancey. If you made it more like a little bit more dancey, I could get you in on this show thing. I was like, well, I don't know how to DJ. I only know how to use the devices. He's like, that's fine. Do it whatever you want. So I was like, okay, I like dance music. That could be fun. And so I made a couple things to get through that show. And then somebody else saw that one and was like, hey, we're doing this party next weekend. Do you want to come and do that? I was like, oh, okay. I guess I'll write some more dance music. And then that was like almost 20 years ago, and I guess I do this now. I completely fell into it by accident. It wasn't exactly the goal, but I just kind of got into the scene and the people and doing it, and I just liked playing shows, so if I could get more, I just thought I'd keep doing it. It was kind of a right place, right time thing, and I was getting more into the electronic side of things than I was conventional instruments at that time, so it just felt a bit more natural, I guess. I developed a rather severe synthesizer addiction, which continues to this day. Initially, the biggest jump-off point for me was this festival called Soundwave that used to happen out on Vancouver Island. If you've ever been to Soundwave, you know what I'm talking about. It was quite a special place. It ran for about 10 years. I came in maybe 3 or 4 years too late. And then as soon as I went, I was like, okay, I'm doing this every year. It was fantastic. So a teacher of mine at the school I was going to that became a friend, kind of like audio mentor by the name of Phil Western, said, hey, I'm doing this like Soundwave thing. Like, I've heard some of your weird sample manipulation stuff and my set's like a little dry. Why don't you come and do live weird sample stuff and just kind of jam on it or whatever. I thought, yeah, sure, that'd be great. I'd never been to a festival before. And oh yeah, what happened? So we were supposed to be on right before the headliner, and then somebody put gas in the diesel Jenny or vice versa. I forget what it was, and it totally killed the generator, and they had to pump everything out and reset it. So everything got pushed back like 2 hours. So by the time they had that figured out, we were basically playing the headliner time slot. So everyone showed up expecting to see, I forget who it was, but expecting to see that guy, but it was us. So we had a pretty good crowd. And I had like crazy long hair like this, and I had this harebrained idea. It's like, hey, if you guys keep making noise or being energetic, I'll cut off all my hair on stage at the end of the set. That'll be funny. And so that ended up happening, which was quite fun. And then I'm kind of walking around and meeting people. You know what it's like to be in a festival environment now, when you've never been to it before. Everyone wants to like high five you or say hello. It's like, wow, why isn't normal life like this? And everyone's like, it's the haircut guy. What's it's like, and after that, I was kind of hooked, I was like, this is a lot of fun. And in subsequent years, I got booked to do my own show at Soundwave, and that's really how people started finding out about it, and how I booked basically all the other festivals you mentioned was probably off the strength of Soundwave. So I do have to give credit where credit is due there. It has always been that way, mostly, and honestly, to this day, it's very nervous and anxiety based. Like, before the show starts, I'm just like in my head, and I need somewhere to put that energy. And all I want to do is just start it. Like, the waiting around part is the worst. I like the whole preamble. We're hanging out, we're setting up, it's cool. The last hour, I'm just like looking at my phone or my watch every minute, and it's just like, I just want to do it. I'm just first waiting. So this volcano type situation builds up where you're either, I don't know, it's like a cocktail of excitement and anxiety and like nerves about, I hope all my stuff works because we didn't get to really test it, or like all of that stuff combined into one. They're just kind of like, okay, when it's finally going, I have an outlet for this. And I'm enthusiastic about the music on top of that, so it's probably like this perfect storm of stuff that's sad. I have heard the comment, hey man, I really didn't like your music, but that was a great show. Like, all the time I hear that. And I'm super okay with it. It's fine. I get it, but it's good. It means it's like, okay, this works on 2 levels. So if you like both, yay, that's a win-win. But if you only like one of them and the other isn't really your thing, maybe there's still something there for you, which makes the show like a little more multifaceted, I guess. That wasn't by design. It just happened to be the way that I did it. And even though that was a lot easier to do when I was 20 or whatever, I don't feel any different about it now at all. Like I saw some clips from the Shambhala show and I was just like, wow, I was going for it. I have this phenomenon with writing tunes too. A lot of the tunes, and this is not like an intoxicated reference or whatever, but I like it when I don't really remember making the song or playing the show. And like, again, I don't mean that as like, oh, I was so drunk. I don't mean it like that. I mean it as like you were so invested in the moment that it sort of felt like a dream when it was over and you don't fully remember doing it. I feel like I write the best music when I'm in that flow state and I play the best shows when I connect that much. I wish it could be that way every way, but it's very situational. Sometimes there's things going on in your life. Maybe your monitors aren't working. Maybe there's some guy like this in the front row staring at you the whole time. I don't know. There's all kinds of weird factors that prevent you from getting in that or can force you into it as well. Live music is it's always going to be different. Currently, it's like a 3-tier quick lock stand. So the top is the brain, that's the computer, that's where the main Ableton DAW and like the core of the tune comes from. And the second tier is my hardware synth. It's been a few things over the years. Currently, it's the Access Virus TI. And that has a MIDI I/O from it, from the DAW. So sometimes I'll just use it as a solo piece and nothing's happening with the DAW. And sometimes it has MIDI information coming from the DAW to run a particular sequence or run something. And then it gives you the ability to kind of mess with that part live. And the third tier is largely effects based. So it's a lot of chaos pads. I'm thinking about doing an overhaul. It's a pretty dated system, but it's so daunting to overdo everything, and I'm just so damn used to it that it's scary to digress. Anyway, so there's a KP3. That's where the main mix goes through, and it's also how I switch between Ableton sessions live. This is something that I've been getting away with for almost 20 years, and no one's said anything. Because you can sample at BPM the end line of your tune, and then it just kind of loops, and then you crack a joke while you boot the new session and just match the BPMs and cue the next song just like a record. Like that's what I came up with in 2004 or 5 to actually boot sessions so I can play them live, as opposed to having it in this giant crash risk session with 8 billion channels in it. Yeah, secrets out. I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, and then there's the KP2, which is for my vocal chain. So I've got Shark microphone into KP2, or sorry, into looper into KP2, which you can do BPM related effects. So if you want something to at the BPM, you can do that, or do halftime or double time or quarter, whatever. And then there's another couple KPs for one's for the aforementioned hardware synth, and one's just kind of like a noisemaker thing that you can kind of make little scratchy sounds or like stuff like that if you like, I haven't done anything in a while. So that, and then there's my lighting stuff as well, and it's basically an on-off and a rate. It's very, very simple. Bring the thing that you rehearse with. Like if you're using a stand or a table or something that's like the height and you're used to that, don't just go, oh, they'll have a table or something. That I did my first show like that, and they had this super low table, and I'm crazy tall, so I was bent 90 degrees the whole show. This is when I was like 25 or something. I couldn't walk for a week. I've never hurt my back that badly in my life, despite all the other stupid stuff I've done over the years. So I was like, this is not gonna work. That stuff has to like come up a little bit. And I would say bring as much as you're able to bring that makes it feel as close to the way you rehearsed it, as close to the way you were used to performing it, with like, okay, I always have this thing on my right, this thing is always here. Just have that as similar as you can, and it will really improve what you can do live. Play stuff that's meaningful to you, not what's in. It's very tempting to go, oh, I really like this act, or I really like this, and I want to get on this wave and like be a part of this scene. But if that's not what you are or your style is, people can sniff that out pretty well. I really like oversharing and being like, hey, here's some messed up stuff about me, but you can also dance to it. I think that's funny. I don't know why I do that. It's just, I have a lot of like big feelings that I'd love to put into more serious songs, but when you're in dance music party land, like people don't want to hear my sad bastard piano stuff. It's not like selling tickets really, but that doesn't mean I don't feel that way and want to get that kind of stuff out or to come across in my music. So as long as you look like it's connecting with you on a personal level, it's like, hey, they meant that stuff that they just played or sang, or you can see it on your face or in your body language. If it's like, that looks like that's very meaningful to that person, I think regardless of how you did it, people can tell. And that would be the most important thing I can say. Like, I can tell when someone's really connecting with what they're doing, and even if it's not my style of music, it's like, wow, they're really killing that. They look like they're connected. That's nice. I'd like to see that, you know? And as long as the phone keeps ringing, I'm going to continue doing that.
Every artist has such a different background, and therefore different lessons and knowledge from their experiences. We got to explore some amazing performers today, and I already feel heavily inspired by them. Tune in to the next episode for Keys and Rigs.